Hello. Check 2. What's up, folks? Hello. How's it going? Hey, Danercus, nice to see you. The worm god himself. Some people do call me that. I don't know. I don't totally know why. I don't totally understand why. Actually, I do. I've kind of leaned into it, haven't I? I kind of totally leaned into that and encouraged it, so I do know why. Let's be clear here. Let's be honest with. I should be honest with myself, and I should be honest with each and every one of you. I've totally encouraged that, haven't I? What's up, friends? How are you doing? How's your evening? How's your day going? Talk to me. What is up? Self-crit is important. It is true. Very true. On book 6 of Dune, shit gets weird. I tuned out around God Emperor. Loved the original. Loved Dune Messiah. There's some pretty good stuff in Children of Dune. It just gets so fucking weird, though. I don't think I finished God Emperor. As much as I myself pretend to be a God Emperor. It got too weird for me. I don't even know what's going on in the book 6 with Herbert's son that was finishing it and everything. I don't know what's going on with that. Hey, Stu, how's it going? Hey, Johnny Dialectically. Okay, so as you can hear, I feel like I'm getting a little bit sick. I feel like I'm getting a little sick. My throat's been sore last night and woke up today feeling a little bit more sore today. I feel like I might have a hard time talking all day, so I don't know how long I'm going to do this for. I might just watch a video. I made friends with Polyev at the bar last night. Oh, that's good, Stu. Did he speak to you about the working kitchen table issues that average folks are going through in this country? Watch UFOs videos. Okay. Are you saying that I should watch that? Stan Rock. First time chat. He's really going in both feet first. Watch UFO videos. I guess that's Stan's thing. He ran away almost as soon as he realized I was a reporter. Of course, the week you're back to your regular schedule is the same week I'm out in Colorado for my friend's wedding. Well, that's all right, Johnny. There's going to be plenty more streams for you to enjoy. There's going to be plenty more streams. Don't worry about that. I'm just stuck here doing this forever now. So, even if I wanted to stop, I couldn't. That's the thing. How's Colorado, Johnny? Remember in May 2020 when the government was all like, yeah, all that UFO stuff was real? Yeah, seriously. I do remember that. And everyone was just collectively like, we don't mind, whatever. I don't care. They're like, they're actual UFOs. We don't know what they are. Here's video footage of us seeing these UFOs, and everyone's just like, whatever. Whatever. Sore throat and feeling crappy. Did you do a test yet? No, I didn't. I guess I probably should. I think I'm in that mindset that since I had COVID a few weeks ago, that means it's impossible for me to get it. Which is not true, right? That's not true at all. Nothing about that is true. I don't know why I believe that. I just think I have a cold, honestly. My kids in school, I see every kid coming out of the school has a runny nose and is coughing. I think more likely I just have a random run-of-the-mill cold, I would say. Maybe that's wishful thinking, though. All COVID does is fuck you up more each time. Well, that's great, because when it fucked me the first time, it really did fuck me up a lot. I was really horribly ill the first time, so looking forward to round 2. I don't think I have COVID. It doesn't feel like when I had COVID last time, it didn't feel like this at all. So I'm not sure that's what it is. I could do a test though. I could do a test live on air. What about that? What if I did a live COVID test? That'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Oh my God. Stu. Stu, oh my goodness. I've successfully never gotten COVID. Well, good luck at that wedding, Johnny. Good luck at that wedding, because that's going to be... I don't want to jinx it for you. I really don't. But I don't want to jinx it, but at the same time, I think you're totally fucked. Stu. This is an amazing picture, Stu. And not to like criticize you, Stu, you're a very handsome man, but you can tell that he felt comfortable. You can tell that Pierre felt comfortable with taking this picture, because you look a little bit like a campus conservative in this picture. Pierre was like, this is a safe space for me. This is some like Milton Friedman, Ayn Rand, college conservative guy. I can take a picture with this nice young fellow, this respectable young fellow. You know? That's fucking great. I'm functionally indistinguishable from any random conservative staffer. No, but it's a good strategy though if you want to go in and get these pictures. You look the part, really. You really do. You can tell why Pierre was comfortable doing this. For a second, I thought there was like a hand on the shoulder as well. That would have been exciting. Just a regular human journalist over there. He's hiding his beer behind my back. What was he drinking? What, a Coors Light? What was this man having? Not an IPA, right? Pierre doesn't strike me as an IPA guy. He strikes me as an IPA guy to try and seem relatable, but he takes little sips and then like spits it out in a plant. That's what I think he would do with an IPA, which is actually the correct way to drink IPAs. I actually agree with that. He's probably a wine guy, but in an environment like this, he wants to seem relatable. He wants to seem relatable. He ordered breast milk from the bar. Oh my gosh. That's a wonderful picture, Stu. I'm very proud of you. Thank you for sharing that with us. That is our Stu with Pierre. That's right. One more time. One more time. Just guys being dudes. Just guys being dudes, folks. Why does Nightbot laugh sometimes? I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure. I don't have an answer for you there. Nightbots just be a little cheeky sometimes. I don't know. I don't know why. Couldn't tell ya. Hey, Cool J, what's up? What is going on? I know I wear a suit to the bar all the time. Same. That's a great look. That's absolutely a great look. You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Birthing 9 months of friendship triangle.
Margatron, thank you very much. 9 entire months of Prime. Thank you, Margatron. Very first sub of the day. Greetings, fellow workers. That's Pierre's MO. 9 months of totally not being in a cult in any way. That's correct. That's absolutely right. I made a really good sandwich earlier. I figured with some. By the way, hi Alana. It's nice to see you in the chat again. I feel like it's been a couple days. Made a very good sandwich earlier. I wanted to take a picture of it, and I feel like I should have, but I didn't. But I got these little just got back from getting my second booster and flu shot. Good job, Husker. Apparently, those new boosters are configured better for the current variants as well. Is that accurate? Yeah, I should have taken a picture of this sandwich, but it was really excellent. I got these croissants, but they're not traditional croissants. They're croissant rolls. It's like a roll, but with croissant material. And I had some leftover. I got one of those rotisserie chickens. I had one of those leftover rotisserie chickens. So in a pan with some butter, threw some of the rotisserie chicken meat in there, an egg. I also put some cheese. This was a crazy idea that I just got at the time. Hello, B-Rat. What's up? But I put some mozzarella just in the pan. I just put it in the pan so it melted and got that little crispy, got kind of crispiness to it. And then I put it on the roll with some mayo and some hot sauce. I can't remember. It's this Thai hot sauce that I have, mixed it with the mayo. So the chicken, the egg, the cheese, the melted mozzarella, and a couple of those spicy pepperoncinos. Really good. It was really, really good. There's something that's very perverse about eating chicken and egg at the same time, isn't there? There's something really kind of fucked up about that, isn't there? Did I not say that right, Husker? I'm sure I did. Pepperoncinis? I don't know. I don't know. Don't make fun of me, okay? I'm sick. You had me until mayo, says Norm Can't Shoot. Mayo is... I'm an unapologetic mayo guy. I'm sorry. Unapologetic mayo guy over here. The mayo hate is absurd. Mayo on its own is mid, but is a great base to add other things into and make it so much better. This is what I was talking about. I mixed it with some spicy sauce. Some spicy, hot sauce. Excellent. Really good stuff. And I don't know what... the sandwich that I just described, I don't know what you're supposed to put on there if not mayo. To me. What's going to be on there that's going to improve the sandwich more than that? I don't know. With butter? I don't think so. Just nothing? You just going in dry? Is that what we're doing? Just tell mayo haters it's an aioli and they'll cream themselves. This is what I mean. Ugh, mayo. Can't be bothered with that garbage. No, don't worry. This is a fancy aioli. And they're like, ooh, that's nice. Basil, pesto, roasted vegetables. I mean, I guess that would be good, Carno, but it would be tasty. I'm a mayo guy, though, frankly. There's just no way of getting around that. I'm not going to apologize for being a mayo fan. I'm sick of this discrimination. I'm sick of this discrimination, which is frankly, let's call it what it is, racism. Let's be really clear about what we're talking about here, okay? I'm sick of it. I'm not going to play these fucking games. We will no longer be oppressed. I'm not going to play these fucking games with you. Chat. You have to love your mayo brothers and sisters. Absolutely. I don't judge you for the things that you like to eat, okay? If you don't like mayo, that's fine with me. I think it's a little weird, but whatever. It's fine with me. I'm not going to go in if you're having some mayo alternative. I'm not going to pull my head in the window. Oh. Can't help but notice that you're eating a non-approved condiment. I'm just here to tell you that I don't like that. I don't agree. Right? Do I do that to you? No, I don't. No, I do not. I go one up on the white guy scale by replacing mayo with absolutely nothing. Eating dry-assed bland sandwiches is my real heritage. That does not sound pleasant to me. That does not sound pleasant. Y'all haven't lived until you've tried ajvar, made from bell peppers and eggplants. That does sound pretty good, B-Rat. I'm not going to lie. That sounds pretty good. I am a big eggplant fan. Really enjoy the eggplant. There's a Lebanese restaurant around here that I really enjoy, which I've talked about a number of times on the stream, Booztan. They do really good eggplant there. Really, really good. I would like to learn how to make it. Don't demean the aubergine. I would never dream of demeaning the aubergine. Do geese like mayo? Let's not start with this. Let's not go down this road. We know where this road leads, and I don't think we should do it. Okay, we've been over this. I think the topic has been settled. Everyone knows, I think, where I stand on the topic that we're referencing here. Everyone knows my position on this. I think I made it pretty clear. Obviously, people in the chat don't really agree with my position, and that's fine. Let's just move on. How do you feel about foie gras? Oh, metal dipshit. I think like it's one of those foods that's like kind of evil and that makes me feel kind of like horrible on a moral level to eat it. But I enjoy eating it though, I must admit. I'm not going to say that I don't. Would the characters of Game of Thrones eat mayo? I think so, yeah. I think they would. I could see GRRM describing some like egg-based quail egg cream dripping down the steaming bread and goose sandwiches and whatever. I don't know. Okay, Miragons, do you have like some kind of alert that goes off every time the G word, GOOSE, every time this is mentioned in the stream? Miragons gets a little beep 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 beep. It's like, well, time to log on. Time to log on here. The Goose Man's streaming. Ajvar is serious business in the Balkans. What is this Ajvar related video that Stu sent us? What is this? One more time, we got to look at this picture of Stu. One more time, our very own left-hand Stu, official TRRS correspondent. They say people on the left can't reach across the aisle. They say we can't be friends with conservatives. We can't be friends with people that we don't agree with. Well, look at Stu here. This is called bipartisanship. This is called the marketplace of ideas. And we respect it. Thank you, Stu, for living up to the TRRS values. What is this?
Zdravo! Welcome! welcome. Sit anywhere you like. Sit here. This is good. Sit right here. Sit right here. Sit right here. There you go. That's a good lady. Yes, all right. There you go. First time? Is the first time? First time for you? First time?
Yes.
All right, then. Dobra. Good. All right.
So, what's good?
Oh, good. I tell you, right, you have to have the kebapi. Kebapi is what you're going to have, okay?
Oh, don't they serve that in the cafe across the street?
No! You cannot get the kebapi at the cafe across the street!
What did I say?
Across the street is Albanian. This cafe, Macedonian. Macedonian.
My friends, I'd like to apologize for the behavior of my passion. I just feel bad in my brain for people to think that your mouths will have been raped by the food that they're serving at these Albanian mother. These mother sons of my across the street, what they be serving is cevapi.
And what do you serve here?
We serve the kebapi.
Kebab.
Kebapi.
Kebapi.
Kebab. Kebab.
Kebapi.
Kebab.
Kebapi.
No, look at mouth. Kebapi.
Kebapi.
Bapi.
Bapi.
Kebapi.
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 There you know, now you're getting the kebapi.
Kebabi. Kebabi.
You got it. You finally did it. Perfect.
What is the difference between
I've had the music on
kebabi
this whole time,
and chebapi?
Don't know.
My people and their eternal enemy, the Albanians. You know, we support Albania over here, folks. You know, this is a pro-Albanian stream, so this is controversial.
For the bastard mother over there that are serving the cevapi, put in the grilled meat, salt, chopped red pepper, diced onion, cream, kashmak, ajvar, then the cottage cheese.
But what do you serve?
That's not how you do
We
it.
serve the kebapi.
It is a pro
And we
Tito
put in
stream.
the cottage cheese.
I know Tito and Hoja were at each other's throats a lot. But again, I believe in reaching across the aisle. I believe in reaching across the aisle. I support both Tito and Hoja. And I wish that they had worked together more. And I think in retrospect, we can't ask Tito how he feels about this today. We can't ask Hoja how he feels about it today. But I think they would both agree that they should have let bygones be bygones and put their personal differences aside and work together.
The ajvar, the kashmak, the cream, you know. Then it's the diced onions.
Sounds exactly like
Pepper, and then the grilled meat. Then the grilled meat. And then we stir it.
And across the street, they do.
Those mother over there! They mix it! The sons of mother sons of liar! Un pet sulle la ambitole la
I don't know what that's supposed to be.
This is B-Rat when you insult B-Rat's national cuisine.
We are here. They are there. We are here. They're there. Here. There. Here. There. Here. There. Here. No. No. Good season, my friends. Now it is time for you to try the real good food, not what this son of my serve across the street.
McDonald's?
Sure, yeah.
I'll make sure to give us the 5 stars on Yelp.
Okay. Okay. That was fun. That was fun. We love to have fun over here, folks. We love to laugh. We love to chuckle. We love to guffaw. And good to see you, Lodane. Welcome. The cops are at my door asking why we're stealing food from Key and Peele's children's mouths. You love to laugh, right, chat? My favorite Key and Peele. I haven't watched the whole series, but my favorite Key and Peele sketch is the one in like the House of Mirrors when he goes and confronts. It's like kind of a MacGyver parody. It's like a MacGyver like 80s cop movie parody, and he confronts the serial killer in the House of Mirrors. Do you remember that one? I don't know if you can find it. It doesn't seem to be on YouTube, but it's so great. There's a few like reacts to it, but I don't want to sit here and scroll for Key and Peele videos. Let me put a smile on that face. In the city I used to live, there was a Lebanese shawarma place I would go to all the time. I've yet to find shawarma as good anywhere. Yeah, Cool J. There's some great shawarma here in Montreal. And again, Booztan. I don't want to keep like advertising for this restaurant on the stream. Booztan, about 5 minutes away from here, is just so fucking good. The other night I went because usually you get a big plate from there, and that's 2 or 3 meals. And the other night I just went and got one. I was watching Andor, and I would like look down. I went into some kind of like fugue state while I was eating it, and it was just so good that I just kind of passed out while awake. I passed out, and kind of when I came to, it was just all gone. It was just the whole thing was gone. It was messed up, but that's how good it is. I would recommend Booztan if anyone's in Montreal. They want that kind of food. Highly recommended, folks. So, what are we doing today? That's a good question. I don't know. Relatable as always. Thank you, Risk Converse. I know. Again, I'm feeling a little sick. My throat's a little bit sore. Maybe I should do a live COVID test. Rob didn't dox himself. He meant 5 minutes by plane. That's good. I do the private jet like Taylor Swift. But, there are multiple booze stands in the city, King Uendo. So that's how I get you. That's how I get you. Hey, Dr. Maggot, what's up? What's the best poutine in Montreal? I mean, the one that everyone goes to with that question is La Banquise, Commissar Thembo. La Banquise is very good, and you can get like 50 different kinds of poutine. Really good stuff. You know what though? You know where I prefer? I prefer just a regular ass poutine from La Belle Province, which is just a Quebec chain of like you get hot dogs and burgers and fries and poutine and stuff. That to me is the pinnacle. There's probably like chip trucks or whatever you can go and get great ones at. I prefer just the regular ass poutine at La Belle Province, which you can get all over the place. Please pronounce it poutine. We're American, except those that are not. Many of you are not, but yeah. I went to La Banquise on the Plateau when I visited last year. Really good shit. It is very good. It is very good. I prefer the trashier one, especially after a night of like carrying on. Maybe you've had a few beverages, a few beers, whatever you're into, and you go and get deux steamy toute carnée avec une poutine à la Belle Province. Sacrément, c'est tellement délicieux, ça. Mon Dieu. A few bevies. That's right. That's really good. That's good eating. That's good eating, folks. If I were to drive up to Canada this spring break, what province should I go to? Well, I mean, Canada's a big place, so it depends on where you're coming from, Dr. Maggot. Honestly, I would recommend people visiting Quebec. if you're in America, Quebec is just it's a very unique place. It's like a unique place in Canada. It's a unique place in North America. I would highly recommend just visiting Montreal. Montreal is one of the greatest cities in the world. And I don't just say that because I live here. It really is a wonderful place. Very unlike anywhere else on the entire continent. I would really recommend that. Some of the best food in the whole world. One of the best food cities like in the entire world. Interesting culture. Beautiful city. Lots of stuff to do. Just go to Montreal. Yeah, that's what I would say. That's what I would say. My sister's visiting Montreal in a few days. Anything I should direct her to? It depends on what she's into. Like, that's the thing. There's every single kind of food you can imagine. There's wonderful parks. There's like the mountain itself, which is like there's going to be a couple of nice days left this year, which you can enjoy in one of the beautiful parks or on the mountain. Lots of great stuff going on there. It depends on what she's into up the Reds. My brother moved to Montreal and now I'm trying to brush up on my French. Well, that's, for me, like, the best way to practice your French is at restaurants. You ordering food. Ordering food, that's the best way to do it. If you learn how to curse and you learn how to order food,
you're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Also,
you're well on
10
your
months.
way. Barkley T, thank you so much for the 11 months of Prime. Thank you, Barkley. Just came here to drop some friend coins. I'm not going to say no to that. I'm certainly not going to say no to that. So anyone that wants to come here and drop a few friend coins. But French-speaking waiters are notoriously snooty. Well, that's. I was talking about this with Nora yesterday, right? It's like it's kind of hard actually sometimes to practice your French in Montreal because most waiters or bartenders will just speak to you in English if they get the sense that you're not French. I know a few Quebec swears, so I'm off to a good start. Yeah, you gotta get those. That's how you fit in here. You learn all the good curse words, and then you sound like you're one of them. And if you see an English person being like obnoxious, you can go to the French person you see and go, sacrément les maudits anglais là. Caliste tête carrée. And then you're gonna fit right in. They're gonna bring you all the secret clubs. All the secret meetings and stuff, if you say that to them. I want to learn this in every language. I am a stupid Westerner and or American. Our education is bad. And we're left monolingual to prevent our world citizenship. Please forgive me. I don't want to be what I was raised to be. It's a good idea. You can just wear it like a sign around your neck. I'm going to burst out my one line of French. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? That's a classic one as well. That's a classic one as well, Sam. So, again, I said I didn't really want to talk all that much today, and clearly, obviously, that's what I'm doing anyways. I did see that there's a Brian Becker and Ben Norton video we can take a look at today. There's also part 2 of the whole labor files thing. Maybe we could do that. We could do part 2 of the labor files and get mad at that. Part 2. That's right, Starlight. Starlight, you're Polish, right? Is that it? Can you say something in Polish? What's a good Polish curse word? Can you teach us a Polish curse word? Kurva. Sukinsen. Is that about right? Gauno. Being mad online is such a big part of my day. Seriously, HTA, seriously. I'm learning French at the moment as I'm moving to Montreal next year. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Ban incoming. Starlight's teaching me like some like outrageous Polish racial slurs. Now I'm gonna be banned from Twitch. These are just vile slurs that Starlight's having me say. I'm gonna get clipped and shipped. I'm gonna get my ass is gonna get roasted on Polish Twitter. Don't worry, none of them are slurs for white people, so Twitch is fine with it. Oh, that's good. The famous Polish-speaking Twitch staff. That's right. Yeah, everyone knows these. Kurva equals fuck. Sukinsin equals son of a bitch. Gauno equals shit. Okay. All right. Good. Good. I feel good about this. It was a cultural exchange of learning. We're just doing world language education. That's right. I'll teach you an Oklahoman phrase. Appreciate ya. Pronounced appreciate ya, which is a bastardized abbreviation of I appreciate you. Okay. Have you turned into a Polish reactionary in no time? I'm looking forward to it, Starlight. I'm looking forward to it. Oklahoma every night, my honey lamb and I sit alone and talk and watch the hawk making lazy circles in the sky. I don't really know the song. That's all I know. That's all I know about that song. Jesus. What are we doing here today, folks? What am I doing? I'm singing show tunes. I'm saying Polish curse words and I'm singing show tunes. This is what I'm doing right now with my life. I don't know. Thank you for no one even mentioning that, by the way. No one even... It's a blocked nose, I know. As I was trying to sing, it was not working out. How was I predestined to have lived 10 years in Alabama, then another 10 years in Oklahoma? I'm like a true American at this point. That's pretty good. It's pretty American. Polish curse words and show tunes belong in the politics tag. Okay, so what do we think here? Do we think, can we get a quick community poll? Because I got to switch to video mode. I can't talk too much longer here. Do we want Brian Becker and Ben Norton, or do we want part 2 of the Labor Files? I'm leaning towards part 2 of the Labor Files because I think it's important that we watch that whole thing. Oh, Jesus. And should I do a COVID test? Should I do a live COVID test? I really don't think that I do have COVID. I feel very different from how I did when the first time I had it. But I do have a sore throat. I am feeling a little sick. Live COVID test is probably better than a dead COVID test. Wait, sorry, one sec. Let me just read that one again. I've got a case of the ass. Okay. Live COVID test, Probably better than a dead COVID test. Oh, fuck, I didn't mean to play it again. Sorry. Okay. Which one was number 2? The Purge was number 1. The Crisis, I think, was number 2, right? 13 days ago, 11 days ago.
Nazi, you Nazi scum. You should burn in the gas oven.
Look at this one. There's another one of those terrifying fascist Corbyn supporters again. Look at that. Look at this lady. I have goosebumps already of how just absolutely terrifying and intimidating this woman is. Thank goodness that the UK was saved from having the likes of this having political power in their society. Can you imagine how scary that must have been? Jesus. Okay.
You dirty Nazi cow you are. Stinking swine. I hope you die in a gas oven. You deserved everything you'd in hell to burn in acid.
I was very, very shaky. I mean, such kind of absolutely uncontrollable rage and fury. I mean, the idea that Jews should be talking to other Jews in this vile way. I mean, it was like many other things I've had, but obviously so much worse, so much more overt and crazed, really.
Al Jazeera has obtained the largest leak of documents in British political history.
Oh my God, this is unbelievable. It is absolutely shocking.
Hundreds of thousands of internal communications expose how operatives secretly take control of Britain's Labour Party.
The Labour Party is a criminal conspiracy against its members.
Free speech was shut down.
They tell the inside story of how Sir Keir Starmer, who could be Britain's next Prime Minister, leads a lawless party.
Looks like he might actually be.
I've waited 17 months to appear in front of you in this hall as leader of our great party.
And remember, just like I pointed this out the last time we watched this, the part 1 of this video, but like really important to remember, anyone that when this hysteria was going on about the Corbyn anti-Semitism crisis in the Labour Party, remember anyone that like pushed back on it in any way or called it out for being a smear campaign or a scam, remember what was said about them, right? Anyone that called this out was like, you're enabling anti-Semitism, you're a racist, you know, the most horrible fucking things were said to it. And so many people in like the institutional left in Britain, even people that were claimed to support Corbyn and claimed to support the Labour Party, played this fucking game and pretended to give this like, and gave all of this stuff credibility, you know? And anyone that was just like, no, this is a bullshit scam, was framed as being some fucking vile racist or anti-Semite. It's really, truly disgusting.
Confidential documents expose tactics to discredit and expel rivals in the party.
People are actually quite dangerous who are in with the Labour Party. They were playing with people's lives here.
They reveal how Starmer's predecessor was undermined by a smear campaign from within.
It disabled him as a politician and as a potential Prime Minister.
Really nice to see you here. Goodbye.
How British democracy, known as the Mother of Parliaments, is being undermined by spying and dirty tricks.
No one
would expect that a political party would associate themselves with the whole-scale hacking of the press.
It looked like somebody is constantly monitoring me, where I'm going and where my car is parked and where my children is going.
It just stinks to high heaven what they're doing in the background.
We speak to people whose voices have been silenced, including those who support Palestinian rights.
It was very painful. As Palestinians, there was no room for us to enter this debate, and that's how it was designed to be.
And the files reveal how a hierarchy of racism exists under Starmer's leadership.
I face more racism in the Labour Party than I have in the rest of my life combined.
In episode 2, the true story behind the Labour Party's anti-Semitism crisis.
I feel so ashamed right now that it's come to this.
I'm sick of people like you speaking for me!
We reveal how truth was subverted.
Oh, Jeremy's a racist!
And reality turned on its head.
That's an absolute lie. I didn't say that.
Look, another vile
was
anti-Semite.
not interested in the reality of the story.
Shut your mouth!
I just heard that Biden dropped an F-bomb. Outrageous.
Mr. Corbett, I'm from Sky News.
From
Sky News.
Well, goodbye.
Oh, Mr. Corbett, what are you going to do about the perceived anti-Semitism in your party? Mr. Corbyn, have you got any comment?
Jeremy Corbyn
Get out of there,
devoted
Corbyn.
his
Get out of there.
political career to fighting racism. And suddenly he becomes Labour leader, and
Lifelong
the media
anti-racist campaigner.
combines to tell the world that this man is not an anti-racist, he is actually a racist.
Yeah, seriously, Starlight. Or did it fry Paul Mason's brain, or was Paul Mason just a fucking fed all along? That's the question.
It disabled him as a politician and as a potential prime minister. Instead of being able to set out his social democratic vision of social justice, he was obliged to fend off one allegation after another that he was actually a noxious racist, or at any rate, enabled noxious racists.
We stand absolutely
Hey, Red
against
Scary.
anti-Semitism in any form.
Nice to see you, Red Scary. We're just going over the Labour Party scam stuff, watching these Labour files from Al Jazeera. And I'm doing a COVID test because I got a bit of a sore throat today. I don't think I have COVID. I think I have a regular run-of-the-mill cold, but just to be safe, just to engage in some positive public health measures, I'm doing a live COVID test right now. Oh yeah, and Lodane, that's the whole thing. I mean, this is all part of this is part of like the fact that like this is now the basically accepted definition of anti-Semitism. This was kind of the trial balloon for all that. It's extremely fucked up. And in fact, our friend of the stream, Jeremy Appel, has done some great writing on this, which I recommend people check out on Jeremy's Substack, The Orchard.
We will not tolerate anti-Semitism in any form whatsoever in the party.
Let me be absolutely clear. Anti-Semitism isn't evil.
We in the Labour movement will never be complacent about anti-Semitism. We all need to do better.
And under a Labour government, it will not be tolerated in any form whatsoever.
I regard the fight against anti-Semitism as an absolute priority. People who hold anti-Semitic views have no place in the Labour Party.
This party, this movement, will always be implacable campaigners against anti-Semitism and racism in all its forms. We are your allies.
How many fucking times did you want to say it, folks? How many times did you have to say it?
Commission published their
Jesus.
final report into anti-Semitism in the Labour Party. I found this report hard to read.
How many
And it
fucking
is a
times
day
did you
of
have to say
shame
it?
For the Labour Party.
Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party was condemned for anti-Semitism. The Labour files reveal they were the victims of distortions and misrepresentation. The files contain the entire contents of the party's disciplinary folders, since before Jeremy Corbyn became leader in 2015.
Did Jeremy consider that thinking Palestinians have a right to resist their own genocide is anti-Semitic? Clearly
detailed
not.
data and information that one
Clearly
doesn't
not.
normally see about a political party.
The I-Unit investigation draws too on voices that have been sidelined. Jews who supported Corbyn, but don't support Israel.
You can't have that.
And British Palestinians.
It was painful. As Palestinians, it's very hard for you to enter the debates, and that's how it was designed to be.
In 2016, Labour Party member Helen Marks is interviewed by party officials as part of an investigation into her local constituency Labour Party.
We'd been accused of anti-Semitism by a member of the CLP, who was also a councillor.
Look at these
totally
vicious
outrageous,
bigots, folks. Look at them.
Accusation.
They're basically
what he was
Nazis.
Doing was
Look at
equating
Jesus.
criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism.
Terrifying.
My father lost all his family during the Holocaust. His parents were rounded up and killed in either in the Warsaw Ghetto or taken off to a concentration camp.
Rika Bird attends the interview as a witness, what's called a silent friend. Both women are Jewish. 3 years later, Panorama, the BBC's longest-running current affairs programme, broadcast a damning film.
Do you think Mr. Corbyn is anti-Semitic?
I've been asked that a number of times, and you can tell from my pause that it's still a question I struggle with.
Labour's internal communications reveal the anger of party officials at what they regard as a betrayal of the BBC's duty of impartiality.
The BBC has used its market monopoly and might as a public broadcaster to run a biased political agenda. It's not a programme about anti-Semitism, it's a hit piece.
A description of Marks and Bird's disciplinary interview features in the documentary. The interview is
British press
conducted
sure
by
is
Ben
garbage.
Westerman, a party official who is Jewish.
Harassment generally.
Notice how many, Jewish people were the targets of these attacks too, right? It seems to be a common trend.
Ben Westerman
Look at these
received
women.
dozens of complaints.
Two sweet old
While
ladies.
interviewing one member, he was confronted with the very anti-Semitism he'd been investigating.
And we finished the interview. The person got up to leave the room and then turned back to me and said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "What do you mean, where am I from?"
Okay, I saw a clip of this online. I saw a clip of this one already. This is one of the most fucked up things you will see. This was BBC that put the supposedly neutral. It's framed as being this big left-wing thing, BBC. It's above reproach. BBC, the best journalism, right? Watch this this clip is extremely radicalizing. And again, BBC gets framed as being some kind of left-wing outlet by conservatives who want to defund the BBC. Look at this. Look at how fucking egregious this is. Watch this.
He'd been investigating.
And we finished the interview. The person got up to leave the room and then turned back to me and said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "What do you mean, where am I from?" And she said, "I asked you, where are you from?" And I said, "I'm not prepared to discuss this." And they said, "Are you from Israel?" What can you say to that? You are assumed to be in cahoots with the Israeli government. It's this obsession with that just spills over all the time into anti-Semitism.
And you've seen in the previous episode, and there's been so many examples of the Israeli government actually infiltrating the Labour Party, actually infiltrating the United States government. This is not a fucking conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. So it's framing it as this outrageous accusation, and one thing is weird in and of itself, considering the fact that they do have, the Israel lobby has amazing influence within the Democratic Party, within the Republican Party, the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, the Liberal Party, the NDP, have amazing amounts of influence. But as you'll see, that wasn't even a fucking real question that he was asked. Watch this.
Rika Bird speaks to Westerman at the end of the interview.
When he says...
This is the lady that he was talking
where
about.
Where are you from? Are you from Israel? That's an absolute lie. I didn't say that.
With Westerman's permission, the two women record the interview.
The full recording shows what actually did happen. Curious, because I haven't been in the Labour Party very long, and I've certainly never been to anything like this informal interview before. So I'm just curious about, like, what branch are you in?
I don't think that's relevant.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't think where I'm from is at all relevant to the investigation.
I did ask...
was this guy okay? Can someone reach out to this guy? Was he okay from this? Really scary stuff. Really, really scary stuff. I hope this guy doesn't have any lingering trauma from this.
Westerman, what branch are you from? Meaning what branch of the Labour Party, because it was a Labour Party internal investigation. The word Israel never came into the exchange between me and Westerman.
At the time, I could hardly believe it, but I actually feel very angry about it now, because I feel it's so trivialising what is a really important issue.
A veteran anti-racist campaigner analyses Labour's confidential...
And Iko Rich, like what you're saying, AIPAC has influence in DC, there's no doubt. That's why it's important to support other Jewish groups that are sympathetic to Palestine. And there are such groups, and I agree. But there were such groups in the UK, for example, that supported Corbyn. There was like Jewish activists, such as the activists that are being interviewed here in the Labour Party in the UK, who supported Corbyn, who said, like, no, actually, I don't think he's an anti-Semite. Yes, I do support Corbyn because of his views on Palestinian human rights and all this stuff. And those people were routinely told to basically shut the fuck up. Or they were accused of being self-hating Jews or anti-Semites themselves. So I agree that it is important to support these groups, but the people in the Labour Party that claimed to care about like Jewish values and anti-Semitism and all these things didn't want to listen to any of these folks, these like anti-Zionist Jews. And as we're seeing from this clip, many of these people were framed themselves as being the vicious anti-Semites that were part of this Corbyn coalition. On the same, and this is a good point, Husker, on the night those smears began against Corbyn, he was literally sharing Passover Seder with the anti-Zionist Jewish group Judas. Yeah, we should support those groups, but let's not pretend that doing so is going to accomplish anything when it comes to shutting down these kind of smear campaigns. It doesn't make any fucking difference.
Disciplinary files.
My mother was a Holocaust survivor who lost...
But by the way, like, let's be clear about what just happened to BBC. Straight up lied. They straight up lied about what happened there. Right? They aired that interview saying, oh, are you from Israel? They fucking recorded it. She didn't ask that. And she asked, what branch of the Labour Party are you from? He literally just fucking lied. And BBC aired it as if it was a fact. That is so fucked up.
Dozens of her own family, primarily in Auschwitz and Theresienstadt. I am a former ANC Member of Parliament from South Africa, where I served under Nelson Mandela.
It wasn't even on the World Service.
And I have written and lectured, including at Auschwitz, on genocide prevention.
Hundreds of party activists are suspended and expelled on the basis of evidence in these files. It consists largely of social media posts.
There are examples of genuine, clear anti-Semitism. You know, here is an example that says, the enemy is not Muslims or Christians or Judaism. The real enemy is Rothschild Zionism. The Rothschild family holds about 80% of the world's total wealth. Rothschild dynasty. This is a fairly standard anti-Semitic trope. An image from social media with the word obey in large letters and how Jews control the American media. Here is another one. Who killed JFK? Who killed Lincoln?
I'm sure no one in the Conservative Party or no right-wingers would advocate for any of these views, though. That's for sure. Next, you're going to tell me the CBC lies. That's how we got to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. That would be a bridge too far, obviously. CBC would never do such a thing.
Who attacked the USS Liberty? Who is attacking our liberty? I'll tell you who, Jews.
Believe me, if there's ever...
You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you for the gifted sub, Sam. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Believe me, though, when it comes to CBC, if there's ever actually a Canadian politician that threatens power in any way, obviously there's no one in the position to do that right now. If there's ever some mild social democrat Canadian politician that is a remote threat to capital or a remote threat to power, we will see the exact same playbook, right? We would have seen it already on Jagmeet Singh, if he was at all a threat to power, which he's obviously not.
We can see real anti-Semitism. But then there is also a lot of information in these disciplinary files where there is clearly no anti-Semitism whatsoever. There's one post that reads, "In memory of 4 little footballers, rest in peace." And I'm sure many people will recall.
Yeah, those were 4 Palestinian kids that were just murdered on a beach while playing soccer. Is it anti-Semitic to acknowledge that? To say that it's to criticize Israel for blowing up 4 fucking little kids when they're playing a game? Is that anti-Semitism?
These 4 young kids, 9 to 11 years old, playing football on the beach, who were shot dead by Israeli forces. Another example. We demand that International Criminal Court and the UN charge Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel for war crimes against humanity. Very similar. Put Israel on trial for war crimes.
They did a light version of it to Nikki Ashton. Yeah, seriously. Just Nikki Ashton, who appeared at an event with Corbyn. And they did the exact same shit. Nikki Ashton, who's not even the leader of the Labour Party, the NDP. For appearing with Corbyn at an event. Is the situation as bad in Canada when it comes to Israeli lobbyism? The NDP seems to have improved a lot on Palestine lately. I would say the situation is pretty bad when it comes to the Israel lobby in Canada, though I do agree that both Jagmeet Singh and the NDP have taken some good positions on this lately. That is true. Which, as much as I'm a critic of the NDP, you got to respect that they're at least taking like these kinds of like forceful stances.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
I do be subbing.
Thank you, Subscription Steve, for the 10 months of Tier 1. Thank you. I was surprised the NDP didn't walk that shit back. Seriously. No, I was surprised too. But I think if the NDP was actually like in the position to lead the country or become like actually threatened to take over the government in any way, you would see more of that. You'd certainly see more of that pushback. I guess the reason there hasn't been pushback is not because there's no Israel lobby in Canada, but just because they don't perceive the NDP as a threat in any way.
To suggest that this is somehow anti-Semitic is simply trying to avoid Israel being called out for its appalling abuses in the occupied territories.
Files reveal a number of party members are investigated for sharing links to a 2017 I-Unit investigation. The lobby establishes ties between the Israeli embassy in London and organisations within the Labour Party. An officer for the parliamentary group Labour Friends of Israel is covertly filmed.
We work pretty closely together. But like a lot of this kind of just needs to keep together separate things that that's everyone because ultimately we've got the same end goal of getting more.
You admit it.
It's just how you do it.
And Rezker, this is an important point, and sometimes we lose sight of this because even people that have like somewhat progressive views on Israel or about Palestinian human rights, the idea of people still clinging onto this idea of a 2-state solution. There's no such, as I've said many times, there's no such thing. There is no such thing as a 2-state solution. It will not ever happen. Saying 2-state solution is still Zionism. Maybe that would have been possible at one point, you know? Maybe that would have been possible at one point decades ago. The decades, though, of illegal settlements that have been built have made the idea of a 2-state solution completely impossible. It will never happen. It's not going to happen. The 2-state solution is the thing that people say when they want to say like, okay, I have good views on this and now just leave me alone. I believe in a two-state solution. Now just blah, blah, blah. Just stop talking to me about it. It's a ruse to make liberals feel better about themselves. People in Israel don't even believe in the two-state solution. It will never happen. What's the alternative? A secular state. Yeah, one state. The one-state solution. That's the only alternative that's left. In my opinion, most of those progressive folks who hold on to that dream are older, like my mom. It's not possible anymore. Yeah, and it's not surprising that people still believe in it when they get told time and time again by the politicians and political leaders that this is the only solution. But the reality of what that would actually look like if it were actually meant to be implemented is not feasible. It's not going to happen. I'd love to see a secular state, but it seems so impossible. It sure does seem impossible, but that's the only remaining option that's on the table. So there are two possible solutions: Israel finishing the genocide and Palestine finally being free. That's pretty much how it goes.
This was film. This is evidence. Now this is sufficient reason to be investigated because you refer to this film by Al Jazeera that has been seen all over the world, that was actually critically acclaimed in many places. This is an attempt to close down any sort of meaningful political discussion or political debate on these matters.
As well as Labour Friends of Israel, the lobby also exposes links between the Israeli embassy and the grassroots Jewish labour movement. Both organisations are critics of Corbyn. Many of those investigated by the Labour Party believe that Israel is an apartheid state. Israel was created in 1948 by forming a Jewish homeland within historic Palestine, the culmination of the Zionist dream. In 1960,
I think I'm good, folks. Just regular ass sore throat. That's all. Regular ass sore throat. Thank you for going on this journey with me, though.
1967, Israel invaded and occupied the remaining Palestinian land. Israel has
Big
since
dub.
isolated
Big
Gaza
dub
while
over
building
here.
illegal settlements in the West Bank, slowly diminishing the size of a potential Palestinian state.
Thank you. Thank you, friends.
Palestinians effectively live under Israeli military control and
Not
do
pregnant.
not have equal rights.
It's not anti-Semitic to call Israel an apartheid state. It's simply a fact. We have the
Yes, it is.
Amnesty International report, the Human Rights Watch report. We have Israel's own one, its major human rights organizations, B'Tselem, have also come to this conclusion.
Israel launches an assault on the Gaza Strip following the murder of 3 Israeli teenagers.
What we saw was Israel bombard the Gaza Strip, bombard one of the most densely populated areas on Earth. And in the space of 50 days, they killed over 2,200 Palestinians, including 500 children. And I remember, with my brothers, and, they try and act quite tough, but, they would call me crying on the phone.
It was the most horrific assault on Gaza. The place was devastated. It was a bomb to smithereens. It was a deeply shocking event in a history.
Those home tests are garbage. I've had friends pop a negative home test after a positive PCR. Honestly, when I had COVID, the home test was pretty accurate. So it's worked really well for me generally. Like when I did have it, I tested positive and I was positive for weeks after, and then deteriorating, like the deteriorating levels of severity. It was pretty good. It helped helped me a lot.
Of repeated shocking events.
Jeremy Corbyn is elected leader of the Labour Party on a radical ticket that challenges Britain's establishment.
When Jeremy Corbyn became leader, we were so overjoyed.
the continuing occupation, the expansion of illegal settlements, and the imprisonment of Palestinian children are an outrage.
You can't say that.
At last, we have a Western politician who actually sympathizes with the Palestinians.
And in order to help make that two-state settlement a reality, we will recognize a Palestinian state as soon as we take office.
Anger over events in Gaza means that many of Corbyn's supporters end up in Labour's disciplinary files.
Rot in hell, you Zionist bastards, and those who support them. I boycott Israel because it is a criminal, land-thieving, abusive...
Carnova, stop raining on my parade here, okay? Stop raining on my parade. I was negative. Negative. All right, I have a cold. I'm telling you, I've been picking up my kid at school. Every single kid that's coming out there is going, got snot coming everywhere. You know? It happens. I'm okay. I'm negative here. Did a good swab. You all saw the swab. I was very serious about this. Okay? I'm good.
Murderous, occupying, human rights denying apartheid state. You can't cover your crimes with claims of anti-Semitism. And I personally, when I came across this, must admit that I find it difficult because it is a brutal image. But a liberation struggle by its very nature, by its definition,
prognosis
is going
negative.
to involve
you can count on
frustration,
me and have good old Rob
huge
to
anger,
talk you through all this.
Extraordinary suffering. You know, I saw the same thing in South Africa. In 1976, when hundreds of innocent, unarmed schoolchildren were shot dead by the apartheid military, of course, there was outrage, anger, and high emotions around the world.
And yeah, it's like you can't do a cartoon indicating that Israel killed kids. Killed little kids, which did happen. And people use this cartoon, oh no, it's a scary cartoon. It's a scary cartoon that insinuated that Israel killed kids. Well, in my view, one quick and easy trick, one weird trick to not be accused of killing kids or doing apartheid is to simply not kill kids. Or it's to simply not do apartheid. And then no one will say those things about you. And if they do, then you can frame it as some kind of like horrible racism or conspiracy. When you are indeed killing kids, though, and then people criticize you for doing this, you can't really claim that you're the victim of some kind of racist smear campaign. It doesn't really work like that, I don't think. High-level ideals here, I know. When did the bombing we just saw happen? I believe that was the Gaza war in 2014, I believe. I think it said in the documentary, but I was distracted. One weird trick, though, to not ever be accused of murdering kids. It's blood libel to describe real horrific crimes Zionists do to Palestinians and their children. This is the way the discourse about this goes. You can do a $200 million Marvel movie where Wonder Woman flies in at the last second to redirect a missile from hitting some interesting brown kids playing football, though. That you can do. Yeah. That you can do. Killing kids was one thing. It was terrible, but the clincher for me was that Israel's terrible reaction to the incident. They didn't seem to give a shit. No, they don't seem to give a shit. And in fact, it doesn't seem like they give a shit when any criticism that they face over this, they spin it as being sort of some kind of anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, rather than taking any accountability.
The world, and so there should have been. This is no different.
Yeah, now we've got Sabra, the Mossad and IDF cop Marvel character.
That there are things you
in the
can't
MCU.
Say. So
it's not even Zionist Wonder Woman. Now there's actually like a Zionist superhero in the MCU. They think all Palestinians should leave or die. No, they don't care if they bomb children to death on the beach. No, and that's why I always recommend people watch that clip of Abby Martin talking to Zionist settlers in Israel and asking them, just like openly asking them about their opinions about this. They'll be more than happy to tell you all about it.
One of them is you can't talk about your experiences in harrowing terms. You have to keep it sort of cool. And you can't talk about Israel in the way that it should be talked about.
When I started hearing and getting more active about anti-Semitism, I was just confused because Palestinians never chose who their occupier was. They didn't choose who forced them out of their homes. They didn't choose which religion they were going to say they acted in the name of. There was no choice in that.
Jesus
Christ. Apologise, Mr. Livingston.
Accusations of anti-Semitism in the Labour Party emerge after former London Mayor Ken Livingstone is attacked for claiming that Hitler had been a supporter of Zionism.
You're a lying racist.
Really? Why don't you go
A Nazi apologist. A Nazi apologist. A Nazi apologist. You dare say that Hitler supported Zionism. You've lost it, mate. You need help. You need help.
The party announces an inquiry into anti-Semitism and other forms of racism. The launch is overshadowed when a pro-Corbyn activist asks a question. Mark Wadsworth wrote a press release that had been criticised by a journalist from the right-leaning Daily Telegraph. He saw the journalist give it to a Labour MP.
I saw that the Telegraph handed a copy of a press release to Ruth Smith MP, so you can see who's working hand in hand. I'm pleased.
By the way, also important to point out with all the investigations into this, Islamophobia. Think about the last 20 years of Western politics, not just in the UK, but in America and in Canada as well, how openly Islamophobic our politicians were, or just totally allowed to be. We have this reactionary right-wingers that literally built their careers on extreme Islamophobic conspiracy theories, suggesting that Muslims are somehow not civilized, that all they care about is bombing and destroying people. This is a common thing. This is a common trope that was used among these reactionary politicians in the West. From 9/11 until quite recently, and in fact, it still goes on. A lot of these modern reactionary right guys, like Dan Crenshaw, Dan Crenshaw was the mod for this extremely Islamophobic Facebook page. Islamophobia is totally not even tolerated, but encouraged. It's fucking encouraged. Yeah, the only Islamophobia is happening now is with the damn CCP. Now the same people are telling us that they're the Muslim defenders. They're the Muslim human rights defenders. It's an absolute fucking joke. It's amazing to think of the extent to which Islamophobia was completely normalized and encouraged in our, not just in our government, but in our society in general. Versus the way that the anti-Semitism crisis in the Labour Party was turned into this national story, international story, for years.
I'm pleased. She stormed out. She put out a statement claiming that this activist had been guilty of a classic anti-Jewish trope that Jewish people controlled the media. It's stomach churning. Didn't know she was Jewish. I had no reason to know she was Jewish. I sent through my solicitors, Ruth Smith, a letter saying that what she'd said about me could clearly be identified as libelous and that she should withdraw it. She took the statement down. I don't think anybody reported the fact that she took the statement down. It's appalling.
The very existence of my party, the Labour Party, is at stake. Every racist anti-Semite out of the Labour Party. It's time for Jeremy Corbyn to act.
Criticism of the Labour Party mounts. But not all British Jews oppose the Labour leader. The row over anti-Semitism exposes divisions within the Jewish community.
Lots of Jewish people were among the enthusiasts for Jeremy Corbyn. But when the attacks started to really ratchet up against Jeremy and his supporters, who were being absolutely demonised and vilified in the media, we talked to others in the party and decided...
And this is for Eiko, Rich. You're talking about the pro-Palestinian, anti-Zionist Jewish groups. This is what I was talking about. We should support those groups. Many of those groups did support Corbyn, and look how they were treated. Look how they were treated in British press and in British society.
That there was a need for a group which expressed an alternative Jewish view.
Pro-Corbyn Jews formed Jewish Voice for Labour. JVL is critical of Israel and Zionism. Unlike its larger rivals, the Jewish Labour Movement and Labour Friends of Israel, both of which are supportive of Israel.
For the first time ever, the Labour Party has walked into the disagreement between Jews over Zionism and said one sort of Jews are not only wrong, but they're guilty of anti-Semitism. It's a phenomenon.
My understanding of anti-Semitism has always been that it is a prejudice or hatred of Jews as Jews, simply because they are Jews or believed to be Jews. Unfortunately, there has developed what is called the new anti-Semitism, that to criticize Israel is inherently anti-Semitic.
What's being claimed by people, by many Jews, is that Israel is part of their identity. But more than that, it's part of their Jewish identity. It is essentially turning criticism of Israel and Zionism into anti-Semitism.
The idea that Jew equals Zionist and that anti-Zionism equals anti-Semitism is dangerous, it's reprehensible, it's an abomination to me.
Jewish Voice for Labour is supported by Palestinians in the party, who believe they are the victims of racism.
Anybody who knows anything about the history knows very well that Israel was created on the basis of a state whose population would be of one community and not others. This is exemplified in my own story. I mean, why should I and my family have left our homes? We felt we had to leave because there had been a dreadful massacre in a village called Deir Yassin, Palestinian village, in which Jewish militias assaulted the village and shot dead over 100 people. After that terrible massacre, a big jeep went round the streets of Jerusalem with the militias, with these Jewish militias in it, leaders, shouting out, "Your turn is next." And I have never been allowed to return. No member of my family has returned. No Palestinian I know has been allowed to return for the same racist reason. They're of the wrong race. So you keep them out. Well, if that isn't racism, I don't know what is.
And this is what someone mentioned Katie Halper earlier. Friend of the stream, Katie Halper, who was recently fired from The Hill for doing a report talking about Israel being an apartheid state. And she's been out there making this exact point. To her credit.
Two of Corbyn's opponents confront pro-Palestinian protesters. Most anti-Semitism campaigners belong to the political mainstream, but some are more militant.
So what we have here are militant Zionists.
And remember the way it's framed, we looked at this last week when we looked at part one from this, but the way that like the people, the most aggressive people are framed as being victims versus the people that are actually the victims of being attacked, the victims of persecution, the victims of purges are framed as being the radicals, the aggressors. And these fucking aggressive Zionists or like violent are framed as being these innocent victims. It's so fucked up. Hey, Mark, what's up?
The people who campaign for the state of Israel.
Paul Scott is a pro-Palestinian activist.
You get to know all the faces. It's actually only a very small core of people. They are always there. In many cases, the people they perceive to be anti-Semites are merely people who criticize the state of Israel.
Congratulations, Mark. A Palestinian photojournalist correspondent to the NYT also got fired a few days ago after being targeted in an article for reporting on Israeli crimes. And also remember how we love to fucking fetishize the idea of our beautiful free press as well. Remember, we always love to criticize China. We love to criticize Cuba or Iran or whoever. Or at least we have a free press. At least we're allowed to say what we want. Well, that's not actually really true, is it? It kind of seems like with certain things you can say, and that's fine, but certain things you'll be immediately fucking fired for talking about. And talking about Palestinian human rights or defending Palestinians from being the victims of genocide and apartheid, that's one thing you can't actually really talk about.
Jonathan Hoffman is a former vice chair of the Zionist Federation. He will play an important role in the campaign against Corbyn. With him is Damon Lenzner, another pro-Israel activist. Following this incident, both men are convicted of aggressive bullying behaviour.
The aim is to provoke, to heckle, and in Jonathan Hoffman's case, it's usually to disrupt.
ISN, PSC, want to kill Jews like me.
The I Unit has discovered links between Hoffman and a far-right organisation.
Links between
Members
Zionism and the
racist
far
English
right, you
Defence
say?
League,
What?
Or EDL, attended a demonstration that Hoffman helped organise.
Huh.
He is photographed alongside Roberta Moore, the founder of the EDL's Jewish division. She will later express her admiration for Anders Breivik, the neo-Nazi who murdered 77 people in Norway.
Thanks for stopping by today,
the
Red
English
Scary.
Defence League started coming to demonstrations supporting
See you soon, I
the
hope.
pro-Israel counter-demonstrators. So they were dressed in camouflage gear. They often had balaclavas, dogs with them, St. George's flags, the whole thing.
Hoffman is not the only pro-Israel activist who had links to the far right. He worked closely with blogger Richard Millett. Millett's blog regularly provided a platform for Roberta Moore and other EDL supporters.
There are lots of examples of outright racism in Roberta Moore's comments on Richard Millett's blog. For example, she refers to burqa-clad dragons and filthy bearded vermin. Arabs have been eating camel for years. The cult of Islam has the power to turn normal human beings into beasts.
We know what does turn normal human beings into beasts as well, right? It's not the cult of Islam, it's imperialism. Friend of the stream, Che Guevara, taught us that. It turns men into bloodthirsty beasts. And Zionism is an important
Hoffman
part
and
of
Millett
the
distanced themselves
Western
from the
imperialism.
EDL in 2011. Others in their circle of pro-Israel activists do not.
There's food on the table, it's very casual, and we're all going to participate.
Seriously,
so we'll start
Sam.
here on my left.
It's so fucking
Sharon Claff
outrageous.
is co-founder of Campaign for Truth, an organisation that claims to promote greater understanding of Israel. Claff regularly expresses support for the English Defence League. She wrote on Millett's blog,
"They are salt of the earth people fighting for a democratically free England. We all share the greater enemy that is Islam."
She's hosting a gathering for people concerned about a Muslim Labour politician, Sadiq Khan, who is soon to become the Mayor of London.
And some of us were a little bit horrified about some of his alleged connections. I think I take that.
Richard Millett is there. Another guest is Dan Fox, a former director of Labour Friends of Israel, which includes a third of Labour MPs.
So my name's Dan. I'm an old friend of Sharon's and a long-standing Labour Party member and activist. I think Sharon has got me here tonight. I'm very happy to have been invited, and I will hopefully be putting the case counterintuitively for why Sadiq is actually the right choice for the Jews of London.
Thank you, Sean. I'm slightly more rested, and I had my coffee today as well. That was my big mistake yesterday. Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. That was my big mistake yesterday. But I'm sick. I have a sore throat. Not COVID, though. I did a live COVID test, and I do not have COVID. So
I'm gobsmacked. This is somebody who is on easy terms, refers to Sharon Claff as an old friend.
He's there to persuade them that Sadiq Khan is the good Muslim, that he can be trusted.
Dan Fox shouldn't be involved in that kind of gathering.
I didn't come from South Africa to be governed by Sharia law. If I wanted
I didn't come from South Africa to be governed by Sharia law. They're really spelling it out there for you, aren't they? They're really spelling it out for you. Oh my goodness. Of fucking course she's from South Africa. Oh my fucking God. This shit is beyond parody. And again, like Sam was saying in the chat, British press took these people and turned them into victims. They turned them into the victims of racism and anti-Semitism. That's how fucking backwards this whole discourse was. And people were expected to take it seriously. And this is, the main reason that I think is important to watch this and really understand what happened with Corbyn and the Labour Party. It's not just so we can get mad about the Labour Party or get mad about Jeremy Corbyn, but it's so in the future, because this will not be the last smear campaign like this against someone on the left that has anti-imperialist views, that stands up for Palestinian human rights. This will not be the last. Like, this was the kind of like the modern playbook for how you're going to destroy someone like that. But we have to be able to recognize when a smear campaign is happening. And no matter how difficult it is, or no matter how pervasive the narrative in the media is, we have to be able to say, this is bullshit. And not try and take some kind of like nuanced, got to hear both sides. I support Corbyn, but we also need to pay attention to this, blah, blah, blah. So many people tried to do that, and it only added fuel to these flames. And in the future, when there's the next social democrat politician that comes along that represents a mild threat to power like Corbyn did, who has slightly different views when it comes to imperialism, when it comes to Israel, when it comes to Palestinian human rights, you have to recognize when these smear campaigns are happening. You have to call it out for what it is. And rather than fanning those flames or throwing gasoline on the flames by pretending there's something to it, you have to be able to say, no, fuck you, this is wrong, this is bullshit, it's a scam. Right? So we learn about this not just so we can get mad about what happened between 2015 and 2019 in the UK, but it's so we have the tools in the future when this playbook gets trotted out again to the next time someone comes close to threatening power. We have to recognize that for what it is.
To be governed by Sharia law, I will go and live in Saudi Arabia.
Whether you like it or not, whether you think it's racist or not, I would be very, very worried with a Muslim in charge. We know not all Muslims are terrorists, of course they're not, but most of the terrorists are Muslim. I don't know who is and who isn't. I'd rather err on the side of safety. I don't trust any of them.
We know most Muslims are not terrorists, but most terrorists are Muslims and I don't trust any of them. Jesus fucking Christ. I didn't flee Rhodesia with my papa who owned many workers to be ruled by Sharia law. Yeah, or at the very least to go back to the aftermath and go, oh, you were 100% wrong. We're going to stop listening to you in the future. Yeah, because so many people that participated in this and perpetuated it are still, have prominent voices. He admit it. Yeah, seriously. Good Lord.
Dan Fox is the partner of prominent Labour MP Stella Creasy. Creasy is among demonstrators who gather outside the Houses of Parliament.
I feel almost like I'm going to cry. I feel so ashamed right now that it's come to this.
The majority of Corbyn's critics do not embrace far-right politics, but they blame Corbyn
just
for allowing
safe.
anti-Semitism to flourish.
Thank you.
Say now in unison, so that he can hear you over there. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
But Corbyn has a problem, one that is ignored in the media coverage. As leader of the opposition, Corbyn has his own office, often known as Lotto. It's the party's General Secretary, Ian McNicol, who is in charge of party headquarters. And it's the disputes unit at party headquarters that handles anti-Semitism complaints.
In his own party.
Corbyn inherited the party bureaucracy from previous, less radical
In
party
his own
leaders.
fucking party. And he should have purged everyone. Should have purged everyone day one. He had people in his own party working against him. Yeah, and like Sam is saying, not only the press, but Corbyn's own Labour Party were doing the same shit, standing arm in arm with fascists and turning them into the victims. It is fucking insane.
For the first 2.5 years of his leadership, Jeremy Corbyn was obliged to work with a General Secretary who was hostile to him and ran a party machinery which was hostile to him.
I've never worked in an environment that was so sort of toxic and toxic and unfriendly. I remember, for example, the first time I went and walked around HQ, and we were just walking around one of the floors, and it just goes deathly silent.
The Labour files contain a WhatsApp conversation between three...
By the way, folks, I just got to take a short little break here. Got to take a short little break. I don't think we're going to get through this whole video. It's almost an hour left to go, and I have to go in about 40 minutes. Okay? I have to go in about 40 minutes. I'm going to try and get through to as much of it as I can. I would just like to remind everyone that if you enjoy TRRS. If you enjoy the stream, if you enjoy being part of the community, I would encourage you to please subscribe to the channel. I'm just taking a few minutes to chill a little bit, because I have to. Because I'm at 5 subs and I'm coming close to the end of my day here. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe. It costs $5 per month. You can also use your Amazon Prime subscription, convert that to a Twitch Prime sub, which is 100% free of charge. It's 100% free of charge. Get all the emotes.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
You can get all the wonderful emotes available on this channel. Some of the very best emotes available on all of Twitch. Join the community. Thank you, Comrade Social Distancing, for the 2 gifted subs. Thank you very much. Ali, it's okay. If you can't afford to, that's all right. Okay? That's fine. I don't want anyone to go into debt, supporting this show. But I have to remind you to subscribe if you can. You can gift subscriptions as well. You can gift friend coin. All of this stuff, very, very helpful. It helps keep the stream on the air. It helps support the work that I do here on Twitch. So if you like it, I would encourage people to please subscribe to the channel. Join the community, the Friendship Triangle, the revolutionary Friendship Triangle, clout distribution and friendship access system. I think I say a different thing every single time. Taking out a second mortgage so I can slub to rib. You don't need to go hungry for it, okay? Please. No one needs to go hungry for this. But I just do have to take a few minutes to try and get the number. I have to make number go up. That's my whole purpose here in my whole life. I've got to make number go up.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
It doesn't count to the goal unless I share this, so I'm taking the opportunity to say, I have hacked into your bank account. I have seen your transactions. There is an extreme deficit of oats there. Rib TRRS Rob knife.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you, Quaker Oats guy. I will work on including some more oats. Some more oats.
You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
In my diet. I appreciate the reminder. Thank you for the 1 year of Tier 1. Quaker Oats guy, thank you very much. Humble Hominid, thank you for the brand new community member. That's what I'm talking about. A brand new community member. Thank you for the Prime sub, Humble Hominid. Welcome to the community. Thank you for supporting the stream. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you also to Tyler Madsen for gifting a sub to our broke friend, Ali in HD.
You can count on me.
We
You're
love
have
it.
Good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Oh, goodness gracious. M Gauntlet. Thank you for the 4 gifted subs. That's very, very, very kind of you, M Gauntlet. Thank you. I love that you say a different thing every time. That's how you know this mutual appreciation paradigm is dynamic. That's right, Husker. It's not, I'm not reading some script, okay? I'm not reading some script to pitch to people, all right? Okay, so we got a little hype train going.
This is some guy, Rob Russo,
Oh,
some
goodness.
leftist based in Canada. I was turned on to this sick individual, and I found this.
Majority Report, thank you so much for the raid. Majority Report, bring it on in here, Raiders. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us. I am Rob Rousseau. Please smash that follow button.
You can count
okay?
on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Smash the follow
Subbing
button.
to this sick individual.
Thank you, Irate Lump, for the 21 months Tier 1. Thank you, Irate Lump. Smash the follow button. I hope you enjoyed the Majority Report stream today. Huge fan of Sam Sater over here. What a fucking nightmare that man is. I hope you had a great stream. What was going on the Majority Report today? Sound off in the comments. I'm Rob. You might know me from Twitter.com. You might know me from this Twitch stream. You might know me from the Insurgents podcast that I do with my friend Jordan Ewell, which I encourage everyone to listen to. I'm just taking a brief interlude. So we're talking about we're watching this series that Al Jazeera has been doing called The Labor Files, talking about the Labor Party and the sort of like anti-Semitism
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
In the Labor Party that kind of torpedoed Jeremy Corbyn's whole stint as opposition leader, and how much of a scam it was, and how much completely artificial it was, and how it was really a smear campaign that was in conjunction with people in the Labor Party and in British press in order to destroy Jeremy Corbyn, because he had kind of like mildly anti-imperialist views and he stood up for Palestinian human rights. Simulacra, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Thank you, Simulacra. I appreciate that very much. So that's what we're doing here today. You're talking interludes. No, I was just taking a brief moment. We had a bit of a hype train, and I'm trying to encourage people to subscribe to the channel. So listen, I know this is a tough sell. British media is your late stage Murdochism. It's very true. Very true. I know it's a tough sell, but if you just got here and you've got a spare Twitch Prime sub lying around, Schmaltz 69. Look at that. Thank you for the 1337. Thank you, Schmaltz.
This keeps Mr. Bezos out of the friendship triangle.
That's true. Thank you, Schmaltz. I appreciate that. Before I was a member of the friendship triangle, I was a lonely, sad man. Now I have 3 girlfriends. Says it all, folks. Don't think about it. Just do it. And as long as everyone's consenting to that arrangement, that's totally okay. Thank you, Sam. But listen, so Raiders, if you're here and you've got a spare Prime sub and you're not using it, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can subscribe to this channel completely free of charge. Completely free of charge, folks. It costs literally nothing. It costs literally nothing. So if you've got if you've got an Amazon Prime sub, please use it on this channel. What's stopping you? What else are you going to do with it? What else are you going to do with it? Bezos hates this. Hi, Ron, this is April, your new automated IRS assistant agent. Don't worry, aren't in trouble. I am sending you an experimental push alert for better spending suggestions. Perhaps consider supporting 2 or 3 of your favorite e-girls. None of this is true. None of this is true. I believe this is some kind of a jape. What Leftward Ho is saying here about OnlyFans and all that is a jape.
You're gonna have good old
okay?
Rob
That's
to,
not that is not accurate.
This.
We don't need to hear more about any of that. Very good. It's a very good jape, though. Leftward Ho. We appreciate it. Very good stuff. Stu, thank you for the gifted sub. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Stu. Very, very kind of you. Is Rob on OnlyFans now? OnlyFans did actually reach out to me to start an account. Not like a sex thing, but they just wanted me to start an account. Because I think they wanted to move away from doing that kind of stuff, that kind of content. Didn't end up doing it though. Didn't end up doing it. Anyway, let's get back to this. I only have another 30 minutes to go here, so let's get back to this Labor Files thing. Thank you everyone for contributing to the hype train. I appreciate it a lot. Let's get back to the Labor Files on Al Jazeera, and I really highly recommend people check out this series if they haven't already. A lot of japes going on in the chat right now, and we support that. We support people. People can do japes. It's not a big deal at all. It's very funny, actually, and I enjoy it. The OnlyFans offer was definitely a result of the 5-inch inseam summer reveal. That is true, yeah. That is true. I don't think there's much of a market for that kind of content for me. I really don't think there is. I'm selling all your japes as NFTs. Okay, very good. Let's get back to this video. Thank you again, everyone. And welcome again, Majority Report Raiders. I hope you stick around. And once again, if you haven't already, smash that follow button. Please. Here we go.
HQ, and we were just walking around one of the floors, and it just goes deathly silent.
The Labour files contain a WhatsApp conversation between 3 senior officials. Claire Frances Fuller, the head of internal governance, Tracy Allen, manager of the General Secretary's office, and Mike Crichton, the director of audit, risk and property. The messages referred to Jeremy Corbyn.
I am just about to stab him. That might be a disciplinary. Worth it, though.
Nothing in the rules about stabbing. Poor form, though.
Ian's got some great knives, but an ice pick would have a certain irony.
This is a reference to the General Secretary, Ian McNichol, and to the murder of Leon Trotsky.
Would killing your leader with an ice pick or knife not come under bringing the party into disrepute?
Was watching the Majority Janice was watching the Majority Report, went AFK, came back and found him on Graham Linehan's channel, but his accent is different. He's saying based socialist things. Janice, I don't look like Graham Linehan. Come on. I know you're trying to say I'm saying cool things and everything. Don't tell me I look like Graham Linehan. Jesus. Really? Really? Come on. Don't do this to me. Good Lord. We're not starting a meme where I look like Graham Linehan. I'm sorry. We're not doing this. Jesus. Okay.
Not in this case.
Reading this, there's about a dozen people in this WhatsApp group, the most senior officials in the Labour Party. They obviously have total confidence in one another that this conversation is not going to be leaked. They're not taking orders from Mr. Corbyn, quite the opposite. They obviously hold the party leadership in contempt.
After a year as leader, Corbyn is forced to stand for a second time following an attempted coup.
It was funny how they tried to coup him as well, and he just became more popular afterwards.
While the party establishment challenges Corbyn, he inspires hundreds of thousands of new members to join.
To talk you through all this.
Doc, don't encourage this. I appreciate the gifted sub to Janice, and I'm happy to have new community members, of course. Don't encourage this. This is not becoming a meme, okay? I'm drawing the line at this. We can talk about geese, fighting geese, all the verbal flubs, the slubs, the buy it, all this weird shit that I've said over the years. We're not doing this, though. This is not, I'm drawing the line at this.
Staff at party headquarters launched what is known as the validation process. They scour the social media of new members. It's claimed the goal is to weed out those who hold offensive views. The Labour files reveal the methodology used by party staff. They draw up a list of Labour MPs and search for abuse directed at them, and only at those MPs.
If you look at the name of the MPs, and I got a list of 57, and the very odd thing is, as far as I can see, there's scarcely a single supporter of Jeremy Corbyn on this list.
I will no longer be acknowledging any comments about this.
Way, but it's only going to pick up those hostile to the right wing of the party, i.e. Corbynite supporters.
Can you hear me okay? We've had a bit of a overflow.
More than 11,000 members are identified as needing to be investigated. It creates a backlog in the disciplinary unit and diverts staff from tackling anti-Semitism.
Thank you, Tyler.
Factionalism within the Labour Party was so endemic and so pronounced that it actually was disrupting the Labour Party's ability to deal with, for example, anti-Semitism cases.
The validation process is run by Sam Matthews, who soon becomes head of the disputes team handling anti-Semitism.
Denial is not an option. Prevarication is not an option. Being a bystander who turns their head the other way is not an option. The time for action is now.
By the spring of 2018, Corbyn is as frustrated as his critics. The Labour files show that in
Rob does not look like Graham Linehan. Unfortunately, Rob does think he's correct about everything. So it's a real glass half full type of situation. The big difference, Jay, here's the difference, okay? And I think you know where I'm going with this. Graham Linehan not correct about anything, me, I actually am correct. I actually do have the correct good opinions. That's the big difference. Okay? Big difference with those two things. And I support and love trans people as well. Unlike Grant Linehan, who destroyed his entire life and career because of his weird, bigoted obsession with trans people and where do they go to the bathroom and all this weird shit. That's another big difference as well.
February that year, Corbyn writes to the party's General Secretary, Ian McNicol, angry that the disputes team under Sam Matthews is so ineffective in tackling anti-Semitism.
It's weird how that disputes team, they couldn't get their act together. They just could not get their act together over this. Very strange.
It is clear that the current processes are far too slow to meet the volume of disciplinary cases the party has to deal with.
In a draft response, McNicol claims the scale of anti-Semitism in the party is exaggerated.
Over half of the complaints made relate to non-members and therefore are not a matter for the complaints team.
He urges Corbyn to
remind colleagues in the Shadow Cabinet and the Parliamentary Labour Party that misguided comments attacking the unit undermine the work they do and serve only those in the right-wing press.
In April 2018, Corbyn puts close ally Jenny Formby in charge of the party bureaucracy. Formby replaces McNicol as General Secretary at party headquarters, finally giving the leadership authority over the disputes department. Staff brought in by Formby to work on disputes are appalled at what they find.
There was no record keeping, so a number of members had been suspended or investigated. However, we couldn't find the evidence for what caused the suspension or the investigation. So it was clear to me that cases just hadn't been worked on. So for me to start in 2019 and have first eyes on cases from 2016 was quite absurd.
Once Corbyn is in control of the party bureaucracy, the disciplinary process improves.
This graph shows the number of suspensions, investigations and expulsions from the Labour Party on grounds of anti-Semitism all through the Corbyn era. And this is the moment when Jenny Formby becomes General Secretary of the Labour Party, enabling Jeremy Corbyn to take control of the bureaucracy of how Labour works. After they took control, the number of investigations, suspensions and expulsions
went up exponentially. Isn't that the Top Gear guy? No, I think he's busy throwing
on its own
plates
does a great deal
underlings
to raise deep questions about the dominant media narrative on the Corbyn era.
Analysis of the party's internal disciplinary statistics tells the same story. During the 2.5 years that McNicol is Corbyn's General Secretary, 44 anti-Semitism cases are brought before the party's ruling National Executive Committee. In the 2 years Jenny Formby is in charge, 307...
If it was the Top Gear guy, he'd be saying racist things. That's right. And I believe he was an anti-Corbyn guy who probably did call Jeremy Corbyn an anti-Semite without doing any research on this. I believe he was absolutely part of this. Biden pardoning all weed possession charges, pardoning all prior federal offenses of simple marijuana possession. That's a pretty big step. You got to give it up for Brandon on that one. You should be legalizing weed. He should have campaigned on legalizing weed and done that on day one. I don't see why they're not doing that. That is a pretty big step, though. A rare Brandon W. A very rare Brandon W. We've seen a couple. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to see the details, though, Dane. And let's get back to this.
79 anti-Semitism cases go before the NEC. The NEC decides whether to suspend or expel members.
The key finding, backed up by the evidence, which we can see represented graphically here, is that the key failings of the Labour Party on anti-Semitism took place in the period before April 2018, before Jeremy Corbyn had control of the party bureaucracy.
Yet Jeremy Corbyn has taken all the blame, and his factional opponents within the party, none at all. BBC Panorama's damning film on Labour's handling of anti-Semitism is the culmination of 3 years' hostile media coverage.
I am heartbroken and disgusted that the party that I joined over a decade ago is now institutionally racist.
The panorama features interviewees drawn almost entirely from the period when Ian McNichol was General Secretary and Sam Matthews ran the Disputes Unit.
Absolute bullshit.
Panorama's interviewees claim that attempts to tackle anti-Semitism were undermined by the Corbyn leadership.
Mr. Corbyn and his office have repeatedly said that when party members are accused of
BBC
anti-Semitism,
again.
they don't
BBC was
interfere
such an
in the disciplinary
integral part
process.
of this.
Indeed, the Labour Party said...
BBC and The Guardian as well. The Guardian is a huge part of this whole narrative, right? Even the tradition, what gets framed as being these like progressive left-wing outlets, or at the very least impartial, good quality journalism. This campaign would not have worked if this was just a smear campaign that took place in like The Sun and the Murdoch press. It would be one thing. It would not have worked without the enthusiastic contributions of like BBC and The Guardian and what's traditionally known as like the moderate centrist or left-wing progressive press in the UK. It would not have worked without their full support, which they gave.
Any such suggestion is categorically untrue.
But that doesn't seem to be the case. In an email, Mr. Corbyn's Director of Communications, Seamus Milne, asked for a review of the disciplinary process into anti-Semitic complaints. There was a risk, he said, of muddling up political disputes with racism.
How did you interpret that email from Mr. Milne?
The same way that all staff in Labour's head office did, which is that this was the leader's office requesting to be involved directly in the disciplinary process.
Our investigation finds that Communications Director Seamus Milne is specifically asked for his
view
by Emily Oldknow, an Executive Director who oversees the disputes team. Milne is also referring to a very specific case.
This wheezy
James
little
Schneider
liar,
worked
dude.
alongside Milne and has the full email that Matthews referred to in the Panorama programme.
It reads, "This member is a Jewish activist, the son of a Holocaust survivor. If we're more than very occasionally using disciplinary action against Jewish members for anti-Semitism, something's going wrong, and we're muddling up political disputes with racism. Quite apart from this specific case, I think going forward, we need to review where and how we're drawing the line
Pretty
if we're
reasonable.
going to have clear and defensible processes. So, how this is used is just the red bit. So,
What fucking? That's unbelievable. When we're criticizing Jewish activists, son of Holocaust survivors of anti-Semitism, something has gone wrong, and they just take that part. They just take that part, muddling up political disputes with racism. It's so fucking brazen. And by the way, Lodane, you were just asking about state charges. This is really big news. Not that. Don't look at that. Again, you got to give it up for Brandon on this one. Calling on governors to pardon simple state marijuana possession offenses, although leaving it up to the states is probably an indication that that's not going to happen. Like why? Like if Brandon can pardon these things, I mean, congratulations. What conservative or Republican governor is going to be like, okay, no problem, sir. I'm going to go along with it. Just fucking do it. Expunge the people's records or don't. You know? Yeah, we don't need to hand it to Brandon. You're right, Lodane. We don't need to. This is a feint towards something good, and it's a half measure rather than going all along with it, trying to appeal to everybody, trying to appease everyone. The president can only pardon federal offenses, I think. But surely they can do something more forceful than just I'm calling on governors to do this. But you know what they could do also, G. Kleppy, and by the way, it's nice to see you in the chat, G. Kleppy. You know what they could do is just legalize marijuana, which is still something that they are not doing. They could still just legalize it. He could have campaigned on legalizing it. He could have legalized it day one. Day one. So it's nice. Again, it's a nice feint towards doing the right thing. Congratulations, Brandon. But it's yet another neoliberal, liberal Democrat half measure. Hopefully it's the beginning of a road of actually good things happening now. Anyway, let's get back to this. I just got a few more minutes of this. This is extremely... Look at this paragraph and look at the part of the paragraph that they used to contribute to this smear campaign. Unbelievable.
These 10 words. The great irony is that this is totally correct and is borne out as being totally correct. Because the Labour Party has actually, again and again, disciplined Jewish people disproportionately for anti-Semitism because it has been muddling up political disputes with racism, political disputes within the Jewish community.
The BBC programme only reflects one side of the divide within the Jewish community. It does not speak to supporters of the pro-Corbyn Jewish Voice for Labour group. Instead, it draws on the experiences of young Jewish party members whose affiliation is not identified.
There was a selection of very eloquent interviews, but what the Panorama programme did not.
I think this is a signal they know they're going to get trounced in the midterms, but they don't have to give a shit to do anything of substance. And that is up for debate. I mean, that was always my stance, is that they were going to get trounced in the midterms. I do think there's a number of indications that perhaps that's not going to happen, precisely because I think conservatives are so fucking outrageous and so outside the norm of what people want with the radical abortion bans. They've also nominated some really terrible candidates that they probably could have taken the Senate, but because their hopes of taking the Senate are going on like fucking Dr. Oz and that Herschel Walker guy who's also advancing this big abortion ban while simultaneously having paid for women to have abortions before in his life. They might just fuck it up enough that it's not quite as cut and dry as that. But still, they could be doing way more. Like they could legalize it. Like they should be fucking legalizing it. Going to be worse than any horror movie I could watch this Halloween season. Well, we will be covering the midterms live right here on this very channel. I'm not counting Herschel out. Sorry, I live here. Yeah, that's fair. Dr. Oz seems done, but I that is fair though. Typo Chad House. It really it indicates like how much the abortion issue is just complete bullshit political issue for conservatives, right? Like these people go on and on about how it's murder. Women should be charged with murder that do this. It's literally murdering an infant. That's what they tell. And then when they find out one of their guys has paid women to keep silent about abortions that they've had together, and then they say that, well, it doesn't matter. We got to take the Senate. It's like, do you think it's murder or don't you? Because if you think this man is guilty of contributing to a literal murder, like that's not a like, oh, well, we got to give him a pass on this one. Like it's so clear how much they don't actually care about any of this bullshit and how much they just use it to manipulate people. He's imperfect. Yeah, it's murder, but he said he was sorry, so it's okay. And we need to take the Senate. So it's so fucking hypocritical. These fucking people.
Withheld from the viewer was the fact that most of these idealistic young people
just team sports, yeah, seriously,
were officials in the anti-Corbyn Jewish labour movement. That doesn't mean, by the way,
I hear
what they
you,
were saying was
H-Flash.
untrue.
You're probably
it
right.
Means that
You're
people
probably
who
right.
assess what they're saying, it's relevant, essential even, that Panorama viewers should be told that, and they won't.
The interviewees.
Okay, you know what, folks? It was fun. Well, not really fun, but getting mad at the Labour Party and getting mad at this fucking scandal. I think that's all the time we have today to watch this video. There's still like another 30 minutes left, and I don't have the time. I got to leave in 10 minutes to go pick up my kid from school. Do we hear 20 subs? Last chance. If you've been watching the stream and you're like, I kind of want to subscribe, but I don't know if I should. It's your last chance. Okay? Don't come here tomorrow wanting to subscribe. I don't want to hear about it tomorrow. Okay? It's your last chance now. If you want to subscribe, we can get above 20. Wouldn't that be kind of nice? A nice round number?
You've just become an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
Goodness. Calm like a Tom. Don't come to school tomorrow. Don't even bother. Calm like a Tom. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. That's so kind of you. My goodness.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
And thank you, Gen X Bushy, as well for the gifted sub. You're guaranteed to not get monkeypox if you subscribe. That is true. That is an official medical guarantee. I don't want to give to this Graham Linehan looking MF.
Rob to talk you through all
that is
this.
the Dakadoon. Because you're a valued community member, I acknowledge that comment. That is the last such comment that I will be reading or acknowledging in any way. Okay? That is the last one. Last time. No further comments such as that will be getting read. They will not be getting acknowledged. Thank you, Plunger Man, for the gifted sub as well. Goose talk, don't sound no bad. Please. Please, let's go back to Goose discourse. If you sub and you get monkeypox, you can legally sue official chat doctor, Doc Hollywood. That is true. That is absolutely correct. I've consulted with my legal team on this, and they said that this is true. By the way, G. Cluppy, congratulations on your Seattle Mariners. G. Cluppy, the official good luck charm of the Seattle Mariners baseball team. Killing it right now. Thanks for covering this stuff. Gives me the furious anger I need to get through the rest of the day. No problem, Sam. I'd like to say we did it, but that would be wrong. I did it. That's right, G. Cluppy. Let's not shy away from that. It's true. It's true. So yeah, again, thanks very much everyone for joining me today. Let me just see who else is live right now. A little bit of a shorter one today. I was feeling pretty sick, so. And look at that, we got our friend Doc Hollywood MD, official chat doctor, streaming right now. I will be back tomorrow, folks. Okay? I'll be back tomorrow. Did that raid just not work? Are we raiding? What's going on? Did I just fuck something up? Dude, are you fucking this up? GG just got here. No problem, Eddie. Come back tomorrow. Please. Cancel the raid again. I don't know what's going on with the raids these days. I think it's some kind of infiltration, intelligence apparatus has been fucking with my raiding ability. Thanks again, everyone. And please, if you're gonna go follow this raid to Doc Hollywood, give Doc a follow. Okay? Give Doc a follow. A really wonderful Twitch streamer, a member of this community. We love Doc Hollywood. It's been good to see you too, Starlight. There's a couple of people in this chat that we haven't seen for a while, haven't heard from. I haven't seen you stream for a while, Starlight. I hope you come back to it soon as well. We'll get the tech guys on the raids. Thank you, Mr. Cypher, sir. Thank you. Proud member of NAFO, John Cypher. The totally organic, non-astroturfed NAFO. Also very entertaining and very enjoyable to look at the posts. Look at the various posts from NAFO. Red Wizard, do not look into this. Do not look into this. Forget I even said anything, actually. Thank you. The non-astroturfed friendship organization. That's this. That's this stream.